Share stream live. Hey guys, I am going to change my camera really quick. It's on the wrong one. Of course, there's always something. Can you hear me all okay? Share mute. Why is it not? Down, I am going to throw this on here. Sorry about this. Seems to always happen this way. You can send message, live reactions. Why in the world is it stuck here like this? Right places, concepts. I'm trying to get the English. Okay, this should actually put captions on here. I might have to put this up just because it put it on the wrong camera, but that's okay. We'll make this work. Hey everybody, what do we got? 9 people, not a ton, but that's okay. How's everyone doing? It was a busy week. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading through this, seeing if there's anything that I missed. So the good thing is we had a really busy week with Dragon Federation, and we were at GDC, the Game Developers Conference last week. We had a bunch of meetings and partners that we were working with, and just kind of putting some stuff together. And it was really positive. I haven't told everybody here yet, but we might as well just go ahead and make this little announcement, because we are currently actively doing the 30-day beta on the phone product, and or the mobile, right? The mobile device. But we do have a fully ready demo that we used in the XR and VR builds in the headset for GDC. And it was something that we were getting ready for. Obviously, when we were talking about getting some stuff ready for testing, we were going to open up that testing tier on our website and kind of go through some of that stuff. But we're actually looking at playing with that a little bit different. And I might as well share this with you, because this Lauren story is, I don't want to say kind of special in the sense of where we're at with the build, what's going on. But the couple of things that I do want to cover are, let's do 3 items. We talked last week or 2 weeks ago about kind of the restructuring and the prices. Well, there's some updated things that will be coming through about the pygmy dragons, what we call the clone dragons, and then what we call as our purebreds, and how those kind of play into the type of experience that you're hoping to have with Dragon Federation. We think that we've come up with some really good options here. We're gonna, I hope that you're gonna participate in this. Clap, love, thumbs down, whatever you need to do to get your point across. And then also let's continue the conversation in Discord. If you haven't had a chance to register on our Discord channel, do you know what? Dice, can we throw a link on here with the Discord just to allow people to go ahead and pop into Discord? And I go ahead when I do a re-recording, I'll put a link up, like an annotation on the screen, so that if you haven't got connected to our Discord and you want to be involved in the conversation, that you can come over and join us there. So the things that I'm hoping to cover here a little bit is, first off, with the VR, the demo that we have available, why we did it, what's going on with it, and why it's going to be really important to get your guys' feedback on this. So what's going to happen, instead of us actually putting together like a VIP, an early tester sort of promo and everything else, we're going to actually get it posted up on Oculus, on the Oculus store here soon, hopefully within the next 30 days. And actually, hopefully before we do our next sales event. There's a couple of things that we have to do with that. So, we apologize if it's a little late. But the reason why we want to do that is so that you guys can go download the build. We're talking about right now charging about $4.99, $5 for that, just to test it out, because what we want to do is kind of build this understanding of, we're not a free to play. If you want to test it out to see what this is all about, that instead of doing the tester tier that we were talking about, it's just $5. You can download it, play it, experience it, give us the feedback, all of those things. But then that $5 would also go to the purchase of a dragon, if you're interested in having a dragon. And that way we know that a lot of you want the Pygmy Dragon. We know a lot of you may want even the clone option. And so it's really just to allow people to get a low-cost test, be able to try it, give us the feedback, what they like, and then if they would like to be able to apply that purchase towards something else, then we can go ahead and get that coupon issued, just similarly the way that we do reservations. And so that's coming. It was extremely well received. We had several people go through it, and we also have some exciting things that we will be announcing in that build. With that build, that will progressively be what we're looking at being updated while we're doing some back-end stuff, because the next little bit of this is going to require all the brains and function to be plugged in properly between all of the pieces, so that your dragons are operating on that independent aspects, free from whatever mechanics are put into the experience, so that it's not stored locally on your phone, but it's in our database, and it allows the world to be perpetual. So those are kind of the next steps in which we're going into. But the good news is for those of you that have both Quest 2 and 3, you're going to be able to access that and start to interact with your dragons very, very soon in that experience. So, go ahead and give some hearts or thumbs up if that's something that you're interested in doing and participate in, if you have the headset, because we'd love to, understand just what that's going to be. And then going in on that, looking at the different scopes of dragons again. So it was really interesting. I got to tell this story because we had some people that definitely got into the VR experience. And the first thing that we noticed is, because of the behavior. Hold on, I just saw a post. Darn, I got a Vive. I have a Vive too, just so you know, Windturn 101. And the one thing about like Vive and tethered headsets is that we are going to be having, more than likely, the way that we've built this is very flexible. So it's not just the portable VCs or VRs, but we are looking to put that into onto Steam. And I don't know what the timeline is for that, but that is in our next stage roadmap. Sorry, a little bit of a regression there. But this is where I was kind of going back between talking about what we saw when we saw people get into the experience. So, clap, raise your hand, thumbs up if you're here to have as a realistic experience as is humanly possible to being able to raise and train your dragon. The reason why I ask that is because there is a gaming mentality that comes with this sort of language, the hardware that we're using, the things that we're doing, the mechanics that we discuss sometimes. And we saw some feedback that came back very quickly where it was like, this is hard. And what it meant is like, oh, you go walking into the VR room and all of a sudden you see a dragon in the corner and your first instinct is to go into the corner and start interacting with the dragon. Most standard games, most things like that are going to allow you to do that. And they'll have kind of a more like cat and mouse type scenario that happens that maybe you need to figure something out and everything else. But as this was more of a real sort of simulation with the animal, what happened is people were becoming frustrated because the dragon wasn't doing or progressing in a way that they had hoped or planned, or at least prepared their mind because of those mentalities. The feedback was kind of unanimous because there are the hardcore pet enthusiast people that want a dragon and they're willing to do and try and spend a lot of time and energy raising the proper dragon the way that they want it, the right classes, doing the research and everything else. However, there's a casual gamer that's interested in playing this and being a part of that, but still doesn't have that capabilities. So in order to be inclusive with that, we've decided that the pygmy dragons are going to be a very good, quick dopamine hit, if you will. Meaning like, hatching the egg, doing all the timelines are very more sped up game mechanic. I mean, we've talked about this before, but the way that we were looking at it is that you have an easy, a medium, and an advanced, if you will, progression of the different types of dragons, and looking at the pygmy dragons as being the easy entry, right? A lot of kids, if you're looking at giving stuff your kids and you don't want them to damage a purebred dragon or those types of things, but you want them to still have fun, still be included in the experience, then the pygmy dragons are going to be the way to go. The clone dragons will be the medium player, right? So you get a bigger dragon, you'll have those opportunities, but there will be, we've talked about this on the last one, so if you didn't see it, go back and see the last lore and story, because we brought up the Matrix, we kind of showed the features and benefits of that, but the clone dragon won't be able to breed. Color is locked. There's some other things that are with it that you just kind of need to look in that dashboard. And so again, it allows you to still have some flexibility with it, still experience a little bit higher level, but then obviously going into the purebred dragons, the dragons that have eggs, is the full-blown pet experience where you're figuring it out. There's, what handbook exists. It's like a child, right? Like obviously there's days to train. There's like how many successive days you need to be doing something to be able to get something to stick. Those types of things, which will require a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but it's going to require some effort. Especially to get the class of dragon that we're talking about, the one that you may want to have, and what that looks like. So it was just something that I wanted to talk about in this, because we saw this over and over the course of the last week, where just because the game mentality is one thing. It produced a result that was not aligning with expectations with a lot of the players. We do think that there needs to be a learning curve there. And so it will give any of you guys as well the opportunity to be able to, if you need to put your dragon on like a cryo freeze, right? Stasis, so that you can experiment and practice with some other stuff. You can always do that. We're looking at having ways to be able to implement, obviously, other different pieces, so that if you do have a dragon that you want to spend the time and energy, but again, we talked about this before, where you don't want to necessarily risk it all on the one and then realize the errors of your ways and then start to be, a better companion on the second or third one. But all those things being said, there's going to be tiers. They're going to be tied to the dragon, so it will allow you the freedom to be able to have that sort of training, interaction, and choice that you want to experience as a dragon rider. So we're pretty excited about that, and it really is something for everybody. It doesn't exclude you as well from owning a bunch of different dragons if you want to have all the different breeds and those types of things, because they will, from a pygmy, from the clone, all the way up to the special breeds. There will be things that each one of those allow other sort of functions to happen or exclusive functions to happen. So yeah, Silverwing, I'm great to hear you say that. I just read your note, and they just said that's a good concept. It allows people to practice without going into the big one, so forth. And that's kind of what we felt like, especially, we're not lost on the fact, I'll just bring this up. We're not lost on the fact that economic times are not, there's so many things that are posted on the news that are like, oh, the jobs report and the economic report and everything else. But everybody I talk to is not like running around going, man, I can't believe how amazing this time in life is right now. I've got more money than I've ever had in my life. I don't know what to do with it. That's usually not what's coming down the pike. So we're definitely trying to pay attention to that. And we also feel by offering these additional price points, we have a full scope of products that allows everybody to participate at their level and then be able to use those things. What we're hoping to do, I don't know the exact things of this, but if you do buy a pygmy and you want to upgrade, those types of things, there may be sort of that training level that allows you to get in with kind of a discount that you've already paid for your first dragon or those types of things. But especially as you upgrade and kind of move through that. So we're hoping we'll talk more about that. But the way that we're currently setting up everything right now is no matter how you participate with Dragon Federation, with a pygmy, a clone dragon, or an adult dragon, everything that you help contribute to the growth of Dragon Federation will ultimately go toward the full purchase of any type of dragon. So even if you download the AR, just know this, or the VR side of things on the Quest, or if we do have it on one of the other stores and you spend $5 for that, that will go toward like a reservation of your choice for the type of dragon that you want to do. So regardless, it will still be able to level you up wherever you come into that. So we hope to maintain that, especially as we're growing and we're getting a lot of people trying stuff out. We just want to make sure that more than anything else, that we can retain you guys in the way that you're very active in the community. You're very active in supporting and raising your dragon companions. Because I'm really excited actually about the opportunity that we have to kind of set a standard that is so desperately missed right now in the VR side of things. There were some stats. I've been telling this to our team internally. I've been repeating it time and time again because it just blows my mind. The return use stats for any one player in any one piece of content or experience that's in VR is so unbelievably low. that it kind of backs up the support of the thesis that there is no dedicated IP to the platform. And one of the causes that I brought up was when Xbox decided to jump into the fray of gaming, they had to come out with their own title. And they had to do it in a way that made players want to spend an additional $500 to buy their console. And they were successful in doing it. It took them a while to get their footing, because when people had a PlayStation, they're like, why do I need an Xbox when I can play the exact same games? But there was an exclusive on the Xbox with Halo. And that was one of the first games that kind of allowed that online mass multiplayer for the arena sort of PvP. And that kind of took what the GoldenEye was and went a little further with it. And now we've got, the kind of the crown jewel of Fortnite, which is, just widely popular from those online, the multiplayers, as well as the battle royale type of thing, especially from a monetary standpoint, even though it's a free to play. But looking at that, we really do think that we have a great opportunity with Dragon Federation to kind of be kind of that staple IP. You guys have expressed, which is also a little bit humbling as well, that there's a lot of you that have not purchased a VR headset, and you're looking at it because of this experience. And we think that, hopefully is due to the type of content that we are creating and what we are putting together. So very excited about that. I do have a picture, and stay tuned, because I will share with you the coloring of our first clone dragon, and what that looks like. And remember, that was the $100 dragon with the mountain skull. So this is our first clone dragon, and it will be a single color. And remember, when I do show it, it doesn't come with an egg, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But the second piece of this is I just had a moment. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me grab my notes. Oh, this is where it is. Okay. So there's two pieces that I want to talk about. I don't know if any of you we talked about this before. We brought it up. We had mentioned it in one of our Lauren stories. Are any of you interested in actually owning a piece of Dragon Federation from a company side? And I'm not saying because we're going to file on IPO. We're not. But if you had the choice, as being a crowd-funded sponsor of Dragon Federation, I know that you're already doing it with supporting us with eggs and everything else, but is there an interest of our people? And I know we've only got a few on here. Hearts, thumbs ups, kind of share me if you're interested in owning a piece of Dragon Federation. Yeah, so Ishtopia says investor ? That's exactly what it is. And the reason why I asked that is because we are filing a Reg CF with the SEC. And a Reg CF, what that is it's basically a regulation crowdfunding that allows you to participate kind of like in that fractional stocks that you'll see. Robinhood does it, the other types of things, but now it allows companies like us to be able to offer fractional ownerships. And the reason why we say that is because, like, let's just say that there was a million pieces of stock for Dragon, or a million shares, right, at this stage in the game. I mean, when you start looking at things like Tesla and Apple, there's just like hundreds of millions and billions of shares that have been issued. But like, if you took us, Dragon Federation, at 1 million shares, right, and you were able to own a fraction of that, and let's say we get to 100 million, 200 million, or even $1 billion valuation, right? And if you own a fraction, 1%, 0.5% or everything else, you can quickly do the math of like, oh wow, I invested $1,000 in Dragon Federation because I believed in it, I wanted to support it, and now it actually turned into something that, you know, could lead down the road, right? I mean, obviously there's you have to trust us, but there will be a lot of documents. There will be a lot of other things that you'll be able to check out behind the scenes. We'll be disclosing a lot more if that's something that's interesting to you. But I want to let you guys all know, we'd love your support. We are going to send out an email for those that are interested. We are going to have registration and signups for those things. So if you want to own a piece of Dragon Federation, that's going to be offered. We should be able to have that available here in the next little bit. Not only that, but if you guys come out like you did in the Kickstarter way, it just shows to the other investors and the other people in the industry that we have got a ravenous, like, that you guys are hungry for this content and that you're supporting it in so many different ways, and that it's just viable, right? So like, I hope that that's something that you can share with anybody. If you've been looking at this or wanted to be a part of it, you don't have to take my word for it. All of a sudden, you'll just be able to look at the filings and say, okay, does this make sense? And do I believe in this? And do I trust the partners and the people that are all coming together on this? Because this next stage is really critical for us. As I'm sure that you're all really aware of, because this is where it comes down to, I don't want to say big dollars, but there's a lot of moving parts to it. And we've got a lot of partners, both, we had some incredible conversations with both Unity, with Unreal, the people over at Epic, as well as everybody at Meta and Oculus. And so we're really excited for this next phase. We're really excited for the live events. We're really excited to just kind of see how everything is coming out and get your guys' feedback. So yeah, I don't know exactly what the minimal cost will be, because again, I understand that the economic situation isn't like grand for anyone, but we certainly want it to be. We're playing with different minimums. We just want it to be available. So we'll keep you all posted on that. And again, it's no harm or foul. Like if you can't contribute or don't want to contribute, and you're just like, hey, I don't know anything about stocks, I'm not going to take that risk. That's totally fine. Thank you for supporting us by getting a dragon and getting an egg. That's good enough for me. So speaking of getting eggs, so right now I'm going to announce, if you will, the next sales event. It will be the weekend as we see it, the 12th, the weekend of April the 12th. It looks like that we are going to be having our next sales event. I'm not going to say when during that weekend, because you guys know how this works, right? You sign up for a reservation, which, by the way, I think that we've got I don't know. I know that we were talking about that 500 reservation mark. We're going to be a little bit more gracious, but we're definitely like over a third of our way into that place. So the reservations are piling up, and still coming in. So we have, it's interesting. We went back through and we did an inventory on our rares, our extremely rares, and they have been extraordinarily popular. Like including the white one, we're over halfway through the availability of what's available in our pure white eggs. Not to scare anybody, right? Like after this sale, it looks like that we are going to go to a mystery egg only option. So this will be the last event to be able to get the rarity that you choose. Everything else will go into a mystery egg. So at least on the Mountain Skull. And it seems like that's kind of going to be the way that it moves forward, just because we've had so many people purchase the mystery egg already. And because rarities are going to start, if we do too many more sales like this anyway, there's just not going to be the equal chance to be able to get with the ones that you want to get. So yeah. So again, this is also to reward the people that have backed us to this point, that have supported us, because to be able to get the types of dragons, the types of rarities that you wanted to get, and those types of things, that's definitely there. We are working on, so mark that on your calendar. If you haven't reserved a dragon and you want to reserve a dragon, again, it's $20 to get on that list. That is refundable, or you can apply it toward another breed, so you don't have to worry about spending it right away if all of a sudden finances don't line up or those types of things. We are flexible in that regard. We do want to make sure that as many people can be part of it, as many of you can. And we've got some really cool stuff that's coming down. So this month, April, is going to be an interesting month when we'll be able to start showcasing some stuff. We've almost, I'm not going to say we've got it figured out, but even Dice and I were talking today. I think that we've almost got shipping figured out for stuff like this. So if you do want some merch, we should be able to get that going here soon. Sorry for the delay on that. I can't believe it's taken us as long as it has, but we're hoping to get that going. Let's see. What else do we have? Well, I don't know. That's an interesting question. So currently, Silverwing, the shirts don't have the same design. And the only reason why is, like, we could do the Mountain Skull, like, dragon like this. If you guys think that this is popular, go into Discord. And by the way, like, as far as like the fractional ownership stuff, I do believe that there's a poll that's going to be done in Discord. So again, if you're not in Discord, jump in there so that you can participate in the poll that talks about even minimums, so that we can get a better idea of how many people want to be a part of it, but also like what's going to be kind of the ceiling or the opportunity for people to be on the low side of it, because we're going to try and find the right balance for that. But as far as the shirts, we haven't done a shirt with the dragon on it like this, and that's just because we've got eggs on one sleeve, we got dragons are real on the other sleeve, and the other t-shirts are just t-shirts, and so we never thought about doing that. But it may do us a really good pull, because I'll tell you what's really hard about apparel: inventory. And if you have, a logo with the blue on it like this instead of the red, and you wanted a red one versus a blue, and you wanted that in a size medium, and those types of things, maybe it will just be good for us to know. And maybe we should do a poll with this, that you can actually register the size of shirt that you want to do, because then we could start to group things together and even get it moving a little bit faster. Just because either that, or we have to put in a whole bunch of inventory on things that we hope that you're going to do, and I'd rather not do that. But yeah, we can. The good thing is we can be flexible with this. So if you wanted this design more than anything else, we can make that available. But please be vocal about it and just express some of the things that you'd like to see. So yeah. Let's see. Ectopia, and I hope that I said your name right. I do see this. If we get the VR, will we be interacting with a tutorial dragon? Yes. So what you're going to be, like the VR, the way that it's going to be, just so that to be really crystal clear on this, the VR, it's a demonstration of the type of interactions and the way that your dragon is going to be moving through different moods, its vitals, the way that its personality is going to start coming out, and the types of things that you're going to be able to interact with it. So it's not going to be something that all of a sudden you put in your dragon code. None of the VR is currently connected to that piece of it, because we just want people to get in there. We've had a number of people talk about how they haven't seen anything past the eggs and the hatch, right? I'm pretty sure that all of you can raise your hands and you wanted to see more stuff of that. And that's really what the VR allows it to be, so that you can really see some of the music, the sound, like all. It's a really good demonstration about some of the paths that we're going to be taking, that you're going to be able to see a lot of those interactions with your dragon. So I hope that answers your question. I'm just going through these a couple times because I wanted to make sure that got a couple of birthdays on that weekend, so that's good to say. All right, well, good. Well, without further ado, anybody want to see a new coloration of the dragon? It's just a hatchling. So, kind of in the spirit of what you've been seeing on Discord, we are sharing that. Let me try and get him ready. All right. So, without further ado, let's just show. I hope that this. We'll do this one. All right. Thanks, Dice. All right, go. Let me know if you can all see this new baby, either by thumbs up or by hearts. So one of the things that we were looking at with this one was, this sandy sort of taupe sand skull, as Sarah's posting it. This was actually kind of taken from a couple of different fur babies, if you will. But we really, we've really grown to love this color. It's definitely a lighter coloration, but using those light taupes and browns and stuff like that, it's we'll kind of do a couple other angles so that you can get a better look on them. Jessica, that is a really good question. Your 12-month subscription. So a 12-month subscription, I'm going to try and make a call on this right now. Yes, if you get into the 12-month subscription, now the VIP is different, but if you have the 12-month mystery egg, I will make the call that if you are in before the sale, that will lock in that pricing. And as long as you maintain that for the month, that you will be able to get that. But I will say this caveat on that, Jessica. One of the things to think about is that as we get closer to launch, which we're accelerating right now, and as those things start to sell, we can't reserve something that somebody else wants to buy. Does that make sense? Because now we're saying, okay, if somebody else wants to purchase that mystery and we reserve that for somebody that's already got that purchase, then it may just have to roll over into another species. And if it does, then we'll have to have a conversation about just applying that total to that other species, if that makes sense. But I will get some clarity on that just to make sure, because I know that I'm saying that right now, but as I'm thinking through it, there is some logistics that can come up, and we just want to make sure that you guys get the dragon that you want. So if it is something at the Mountain Skull and you are on that, then please talk to us, open up a ticket in Discord, that we can start to figure out a solution for that. Especially if you're looking at something, because I know that the monthly purchases started back in November. And by the time next November rolls around, then we might be in a different place. But let's just make sure that we're communicating with that, so that we don't kind of get stuck sitting on our hands or in a bad situation, because we want you to get the dragon that you want. That's the bottom line. And I know I got stuck on one picture, but I wanted to show the top of it too, just because it has like some of the orange and translucence in the wings and some of the other things. But like, I'm really happy with the way that this coloring comes out. I think that this one would be a really good option for those that even, maybe even like the tan, and you're like, oh great, now I have to get another Mountain Skull. But the good news is this one is only $100. There would be an opportunity to get an egg in the future for this one that you can use to raise, but it's not required. So if you are a collector of the eggs, you will have the opportunity to get this in that color, but it's not going to be a rarity, and it's not going to come with that. So just so that you know. What do we got here? Next time, maybe seeing a run animation or idle animation. So I hesitate. So, okay. We have lots of animations of these guys going around. And I don't know how many of you are in the Discord, but we do show a lot of the baby doing a lot of different things. Personally, for me, you guys will be seeing it, because I'm gonna take and I'm gonna cut a trailer of a lot of the new footage, a lot of the stuff that we have with both the VR, the XR, and with the mobile app, and we're gonna start putting some of this stuff together so that you can start seeing a lot more of what's going on with the dragon. I'm going to be very careful not to give any spoilers away, because there are some exciting things that we haven't talked about that I want you to be able to experience for the first time, because they're great. They're just great. And that's all I'm going to say about that. One of the things that we are doing with the VR launch too, just so that you guys know, because I want you guys to support us in droves. And what I mean by this is, because the VR industry is kind of suffering from that IP problem other than Beat Saber. What I am hoping to do, and please support us along this journey, that once we go live, that kind of 7, 15, 30, 45 days, 60 days out, we are going to be updating that content to even drive existing people back into the experience. Now, I'm not going to say let's skew the numbers, but by any means, however you guys want to help us skew the numbers, we will take that, because our partnership with Oculus will be able to be improved greatly because of that. But I want to be able to showcase the type of cadence of new content, new upgrades, like new additions, especially as we start building out the world, the scopes of the world, the quests, the opportunities, all the different pieces. And as your dragon gets older, there's going to be new things, new features. And so we want to give a taste with that. And that's why I'm not going to give too much of it away, because I really want you guys to come back and support it and really start to understand the natural flow and progression of things. We have the analytics in the app, so we're seeing like how much people are going in on a daily basis, but we do want to understand that as well with the VR, because our goal, especially for those of you that are raising, whether it's a pygmy all the way up into a specialty dragon, that you don't have to spend 3 hours every day, right? hopefully we're trying to build the content so that if you wanted to spend 3 hours, you can. Well, at least 2, because the battery life on the Oculus isn't that long. But to be able to spend as much time as your battery will allow. But at the same time, for those of you that don't want to be in a VR headset, that you don't have to spend that much time. But it's more about like bite-sized chunks, right? You come home and your dragon's wagging their tail because they're excited to see you, and you go in there and you just hang out for a little bit, and you sit down and you watch a movie. You know what I mean? And you have a dragon with you. Those are the types of things that we just kind of want to see. The types of things, it doesn't have to be all dedicated training or feeding or sleeping or nourishing, as much as it's just like hanging out, right? And so whether you do that in bite-sized chunks or whether you digest that in larger chunks, we just kind of want to understand that. But again, once we get that launched, hopefully we can unleash you guys from the Army standpoint and just be like, okay, everybody go in and just hang out for a couple. and hopefully that will work out. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys to get in there and try it and test it and play with it. Cerberus, the tan one would be more fitting where I am. Right? It might blend in a little bit better. Okay, I'm just looking. Fennec, is this the Pygmy Dragon, and will they be limited? No, Fennec, this is not the Pygmy, and no, this one is not limited. The Pygmies, so I will let you guys know this because that is a good question. There will be Pygmies that are limited, but the $25 one that comes with the purchase of the VR experience is not limited. So you will see that. We will have images of that dragon here very soon. That's currently being excavated, if you will. Excavated, it's more like it's being hatched. So there will be limited versions of the Pygmy dragons, but the first one that we're going to release is not a limited Pygmy. And I'm just reading now. I'm just doing the Q&A part because that, just so you guys know, is our Lauren story. We are going to be signing, just so you know, hopefully this weekend, we are going to be starting kind of an email campaign that allows you to digest. If you still don't understand what does it mean to purchase a dragon? What does it mean to have a dragon? How does it work? AR, VR. If all of this stuff is still kind of nebulous in your brain, we're going to be having an email campaign that will start to hopefully make this understandable, that you can start to select the courses and the types of emails that you would like to receive, as well as with our homepage. We're going to be updating our homepage as well as our purchase page so that you can see the matrix of these products or these dragons and what they have to offer against the other ones, as well as how it works from a reservation. What does it mean as a pre-order to a purchase to begin playing with your dragon? And just hopefully clean that up, because we know that we like to share a lot of words, and our website is not short of that. And we know that it was just a continual process in the education, because we are carving out a whole new category. I mean, really, we don't know of any VR, mobile, and physical, as well as experiential, in real life opportunities that are existing out there. So it does take a little bit of explaining and nurturing and that type of thing, but we hope to clean up our website as well. So Fennec is asking, will we be able to choose the gender of our dragons? Now, if you've been paying attention to a lot of our conversations, we have discussed this in particularly. So the Mountain Skull breed, for those that you don't know, I'm just reiterating this, the Mountain Skull breed, it is determined by you guys based on temperature in gestation. So some of the things that you're already testing on the mobile app right now will have, and we're not giving it away just yet, especially when you get to the end of your dragon, whether it's going to be like if you're a tester, whether it's going to be revealed if it's a male or female. But that is something that is, so if you've seen our TikToks and everything else, is it a boy, is it a girl? You have the ability to be able to make that decision with the Mountain Skull. It may require a little bit of effort. Again, these dragons, like I said, these are the advanced dragons. So sorry to wing that on you guys right now if you were hoping that it wasn't one. But yeah. Someday we get the brain chip based XR, that would be ideal for me. Well, I mean, they're already doing the human trials with what is it, Elon Musk's company, the Neuralink. So you never know. You never know. Full dive system, full haptic feedback. So I will say this. I have met last week, in particularly, as well as at South by when we were down there as well. We are in conversations with a glove partner, haptics partner, that allows you to go hands-free, but it still gives you haptic feedback to be able to interact with the dragons in a way. There's a lot that we're excited about with the partnership with Oculus, because we've always been looking at ways to use the controllers as more as tools, not necessarily the direct interaction technique. But there still has to be peripherals that are created for that, whether it's a hoster, that you're, just like as a dragon rider, you've got your tool belt, right? And you're putting your tools around to be able to pick up different devices and those types of things when needed. But, we are working with haptics partners to be able to bring that. And I've been really careful to make sure that those partners are in a cost-effective, B2C, direct-to-consumer price point, because when they're coming out at $500, $600, again, like, what would we really pay to have those types of things with a real dragon? I don't want to say that it's like, yeah, it's going to be comparable to a horse, because the whole thing was supposed to be cheaper than a horse. Other than that, I'm failing as a father if I don't do that. So, no, that's great to know. I'm just reading your note, Jesse. VR goes over my head. So I will say this. The great part about 2024 is we are going to be around the country. I want you guys, if we are anywhere close to where you're going to be, and I'm sorry I didn't tell everybody that I was heading out to California. I already got yelled at for that. And I'm sorry I didn't tell everyone that I was going out to Austin. Nobody yelled at me for that, but I was already in Texas. I was already in California. We are going to Vegas here soon, and we are planning on being in Dragon Con in Atlanta. I'm just doing a plug for that, as well as FanX in Salt Lake City. And if you haven't had a chance to experience VR, there is no amount of material that I can show you in 2 dimensions, even if it's screen captured, from that to the way VR makes you feel. It is totally different. There's no 2D screen that actually is going to give you the opportunity to understand what we're talking about here. So when we talk about love the email idea, VR goes over my head, right? The biggest thing that I would say on this is, like, if there's people in your area, join us on Discord, get somebody, test drive somebody's headset. I'll bet you they'll let you do it, right? Like, if they've already got the app installed and everything else, and you want to go see what it's like, talk to each other. Share it, see it, visit us in person, because I promise you there is nothing that is going to, you'll get it the moment that you experience it. And if VR specifically gives you kind of, like, it's gotten so much better. The latency rates have gotten better, because you might have heard that sometimes it gets you sick or these types of things. The way that we've designed our experience, you have control of your movement. You have control of the speed. There's no teleporting and warping. It's very grounded. Our frame rates, our performance are right where they're supposed to be. So you're not going to be having dropped frames and those types of things. And this is all very important to the quality of VR. And again, I'm just talking about this because it's important. But with the inclusion of the pass-through, I don't know anybody that is even getting remotely sick in the pass-through. And the reason why is because you're present in your space with your hands and your feet and your floor and all your couches and all of those things. And so it's just basically wearing it's basically wearing a heavy goggle. I don't even want to say heavy because they've done a lot better, but it's really just putting a lens in front of your eyes and experiencing that. And because we already have these dragons working in the XR space, in that spatial space, you will be able to experience in a very rich way, even through the headsets, even if VR is over your head or it makes you a little bit nauseous. That's the one thing that we're really trying to do. It's just really, accessibility, availability, whether it's from pricing, whether it's from mobile devices to VR devices, whether it's in your home or whether it's fully immersive VR, all of these types of things. Like this is our thought process in the way that this experience is coming to life. And I just want you guys to experience it in all the ways possible. So I agree. More people need to post egg unboxing on social media. As this new sale comes through and people are doing that, just record it and even send us the footage if you'd like us to do something with it. We can help you put something together. I'll drop a little. If you haven't seen Gemini X on TikTok, I'm putting in a little plug for them. They did a wonderful unboxing for us and posted it on their channel. Go back through and look at it. We've also got it saved. I think that it's in our general and as well as our TikToks and posts, so that you can check that out if you'd like to do something. But even with the beta test and all of these testings that's going on with the downloads, like we've opened up the hood. Right, we're allowing you guys that have the apps and those types of things. You're more than welcome to start sharing. We're very happy with where like our products out right now with the UI, with what's happening on the mobile side, with what's happening on the VR. So, Finnick, you're asking, can you look into making a home environment version of the XR app? We already have it. Just so you know, like you've already seen me, like for those of you that haven't seen it, I've been playing with my dragon in my house for months now. So that's already going to be there. That will be up on the store as well. So just to give you a quick idea, the two versions that will be up is one for the XR using pass-through only, and the other one will be in VR that also has a preview of pass-through with a full immersive VR. And so you will have both opportunities to get both of those running with your babies and check those out. Eyes on gestures and not controls. So Wintern 101, just so you know, everything that we do right now is not on controls. The only thing that is moving your body around the experience. We don't have button pushes to like, turn left, turn right, hand somebody or anything else. Like you're grabbing stuff, you're throwing stuff, feeding stuff. It's all based on controls and movement. And the dragon, I want to hang the hat because our developers that have been putting this together, like it is no joke to get the dragon to react to movement and speed and to other things in the way that people are, whether they're moving it with the controllers or they're moving their body, the dragon reacts to that. And so those are things to just keep in mind when you're looking at the dragon experience. It's a different mentality. Look at it from how you would react with the dragon in real life. And that's really everything that we've been trying to put together with this. Mary, I'm interested to see what happens, like if you get motion sick and you do have VR, especially in pass-through, if that works the same way. And I'm also interested to see in the VR experience. It might be interesting once the legs come into play, and that's something we look to utilize the partners with Oculus. Well, this is the goal, you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, like I keep saying this over and over, it's one thing to spend. I talked about this with the Rock Band experience. So how many of you owned Rock Band for any of the consoles? I certainly did. And we spent, roughly back in the day, it was $250 to buy the full kit, drums and guitars, microphone, and the game. And if you think about that, these types of experiences and things, like we have been willing to spend quite a bit on to be able to upgrade it. But when we look at the VR, my hope, and I'm just going to come right out and say this, like the opportunity that we have as VR as a captive audience, because when you're in VR, it's you. It's not an avatar. It's you. And so the ability to do actions, learn skills without like going to school, right? It's just because you're interested. And the mechanics of throwing, and like if you're playing fetch, those things feel very real. And to be able to have this sort of sense of this grounded sense of reality, that obviously there's some fantastical things that will happen, but really having that movement and those types of things that are based on you. And the more you learn, the more that would actually be able to transfer in real life. And that's because the care and attention that we are going through with the behaviors and the unique characteristics of the dragon, they will be upgrading based on training protocols from other animals. And so I'm just sharing that with you because the level that we're going to is definitely far, far, far greater than a game. And when I played Rock Band for the first time, I remember sitting down and playing the drums in there. And I was like, if they actually did this correctly, instead of gamifying it for it to be hard, it actually would teach somebody how to play the drums. And I don't know if for you guys playing, if you guys did play Rock Band, if you didn't play Rock Band, but like I loved playing the drums because it was something that I did as a kid. But then through those, just like having that feeling and feeling like I was improving my skill, that was something that I loved. And I loved spending time on it because it was adding to my human experience instead of just distracting me. And so there's my philosophy for the day. I am so glad you guys joined us. Thank you for joining us on this. We got a lot of really great stuff coming on. So if you're not in the Discord, please come and join us in the Discord. Get involved, get active with the polls so that we can understand where you're at. And yeah, we will see you all in the clouds. Thank you again for supporting us, and appreciate everything that you guys are doing. So have a great night. Good night.